Hi, I'm Chef Robson de Oliveira, and tonight we'll be making stuffed arepas with refried beans, fried plantains, and a creamy avocado cilantro sauce. So to start off with our arepas, we're going to start with room temperature water. And you always want to do the water first, not the flour. We're going to mix that all together. And so arepas is a flatbread that is traditionally from Venezuela, and it's made with this flour called harina de maíz, which is the pre-cooked corn flour. Once you've got the dough to the right consistency where you can mold it and it's not sticking to your hands and it's not cracking, at this point some people would just take fistfuls and start making their arepa discs. What I like to do is kind of shape a giant arepa, making sure it's equal in size. And then I'm going to cut it into equal parts. And so today, for the size we're looking for, we're going to take 2 of these triangles and we're going to just roll them into a ball. You know, your finished product should be about 5 to 7 inches big, about 3/4 inches thick. And then you're just going to start forming your disc. You know, you're kind of looking for like a hockey puck shape. And just form it with your hand. And you kind of want it nice and smooth without any cracks. So now that our arepa discs are ready and made, we're going to pan fry them. You can use any kind of skillet you want. I prefer to use a cast iron skillet. It's going to distribute the heat a little bit better, and it's going to give us that nice golden brown crust that we're looking for. So once your pan has come up to temp, you're going to place your arepas in there. And you want to make sure not to overcrowd the pan, because that will cause the pan to cool down too fast, and that's not going to give you the crust we're looking for here. And we're going to do about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. And so this side is going to go a little bit less, probably 4 to 5 minutes. And we want the same color on each side. And so once you've achieved the brown color on the other side, then your arepas are done. And we're just going to set them aside to drain and cool while we work on our other ingredients. And for our next recipe, we're going to jump into the fried plantains, also known as plátanos. We're going to take advantage of the pan still being nice and hot. And we're going to put our plantains in there. Once again, making sure not to crowd the pan. And, the plantains are in the banana family. They're just not as sweet as a regular banana. And you want to make sure you use nice, ripe plantains when you're frying them. And what happens is when you start to cook them, it releases the sugar, and it's going to help with the caramelization of the banana and also the sweetness of it. And an interesting fact about the plantain is that it actually has more potassium than your regular banana, and it's still loaded with vitamin A and vitamin C as well. So we're gonna let these go for about 3-4 minutes on our cast iron skillet, and being careful to check, because these are one of those things that go from almost there to burnt. So want to keep an eye on that. Checking for the browning. And you start getting that color right there. And you start flipping them over. You're gonna probably go like another 2 minutes on this side. Then we're just gonna put them on a paper towel so they could drain and cool. And we'll use later when we're stuffing our arepas. And so for our next recipe is going to be our quick refried beans. This is a good way to add some protein to the dish and also some fiber that's going to help with digestion and blood sugar levels. And the reason I like putting the smoked paprika in there is because most refried beans have bacon fat in it. And the smoked paprika will give it that depth of flavor and resemble that kind of taste that this bacon fat will give you. And we're just going to put it in a food processor and blend until we get a nice consistency. So if it's too thick, the consistency, we'll just add a little bit of water to thin it out. And remember that we're going to use this as a spread for our arepas, so we do still want it kind of thick. And so once we get the consistency that we're looking for, we're just going to transfer it over to a pot on a low heat and let it cook until it's time to stuff the arepas. And like I said, for this purpose, we're gonna need it kind of thick. If you wanted to thin it out even more for something else, you could just add a little bit of water to it. And we're just gonna keep it nice and low. So next we're gonna start on our avocado sauce for our arepas. And we're gonna start by roasting some garlic. We're gonna take a whole head of garlic and just cut off the top of the garlic like this. And we're gonna place it in some foil and put a little bit of grapeseed oil over the top of the whole thing. Make a nice little tight bunch like that. And it's gonna go into a preheated oven at about 450. We're gonna do about 20-25 minutes until it gets nice and golden brown and aromatic. And so the finished product should look something like this. And now that our garlic is already roasted, we can continue with our cilantro sauce. We're gonna start by just cutting open the avocado. Just right down the middle like this. Just twisting it. And I like to just take the knife and turn like that. And remove our seed. And we'll just scoop it out like this with a spoon. Rubbing right against the skin of the avocado, going all the way around. And the sauce plays a really big part in the arepa. When I was introduced to arepa about 15 years ago, I was living in South Florida. And I lived in a community that had a lot of Venezuelans and Colombians. And I'd say within one block, there was probably 5 or 6 different arepa shops. And so people would swear by, no, I only eat arepas from this place and I only eat it from that one. And I said, so what's really the big difference between the shops? And what they told me was the sauce. Each one had their own unique sauce. And so all of them kind of had this green sauce, they would call it. And it was kind of a mix of mayonnaise and avocados and all these other things. And today we're gonna make a lot healthier, lighter version of this green sauce. So I like to start off with the liquid ingredients first, and I only like to use about half of the water, and we'll reserve the other half to thin out as we go along. So we'll just place all of the ingredients in our blender. So you take your roasted head of garlic, and you can just squeeze at it, and the garlic cloves will just start to come out. And now we're ready to stuff and plate our arepas. I like to use a bread knife to cut through it. And traditionally, in Venezuela, they only cut about 3/4 of the way. So you kind of have a hinge at the back that will hold all your stuffing in together. So you kind of open it like that. If you want, you can cut it all the way open. And the inside should be nice and soft, moist, and dense. A lot of people think, oh, it's undercooked. You know, that's just the way it is. It's really dense like that. And we're gonna start off with our refried beans. And next I like to do a couple slices of tomato. And then we're gonna go with our plantains right on top of that. And then the drizzle of our avocado cilantro sauce. And then I like to just finish it off with a couple pickled red onions. And this concludes our stuffed arepas with refried beans, fried plantains, and avocado sauce. Hope you enjoyed.